Hello friends, myself Dr. Bhushan Bhagat from Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery, Sinhagat Dental College and Hospital, Pune. As we know, trigeminal nerve, it is a fifth branch of cranial nerve. It is also known as dentist nerve. Today we will deal about branches of trigeminal nerve in short. There are three branches of trigeminal nerve. First, it is ophthalmic, second is maxillary, and third is a mandibular. So, from trigeminal ganglion, there are three branches of trigeminal nerve. First is ophthalmic. This is ophthalmic. This is a maxillary, and this is a mandibular. Right. Today, now we will deal about a maxillary nerve first. So, can you see? Can you see this? This is called as a foramina rotundum. So, through foramina rotundum, maxillary nerve passes through foramina rotundum and it enters into this space. This space is called as a infratemporal surface of maxilla. Infratemporal surface of maxilla or posterolateral surface of maxilla. So this is a posterolateral surface of maxilla or infratemporal surface of maxilla. So again, maxillary nerve, can you see? This is the infratemporal surface of maxilla. Okay. Now, maxillary nerve enters into infratemporal surface of maxilla through foramina rotundum. This is a foramina rotundum, and you can say maxillary nerve leaves the cranium. So the part before this, so this part is called as a This part is called as a cranium. So maxillary nerve leaves the cranium through foramina rotundum. Remember this foramina. What is a foramina rotundum? Right. So foramina rotundum, maxillary nerve, foramina rotundum. MR, maxillary nerve, foramina rotundum. Before it leaves the foramina rotundum, it means maxillary nerve. Before it leaves the foramina rotundum, it gives one branch called as a meningeal branch. Gives a meningeal branch. This is a meningeal branch, and it is a sensory supply to the meninges of the brain. Right. So basically, maxillary nerve, it is a sensory nerve. So this is a second branch, and this is a foramina rotundum. Okay. Now coming to the second branch. Second branch is a zygomatic branch. Can you see? This is the infratemporal surface of maxilla. When it enters into infratemporal surface of maxilla, it again gives one branch called as a zygomatic branch. Can you see this? Zygomatic branch. This is a zygomatic branch. Second is a zygomatic branch. It is in the infratemporal surface of maxilla. This all surface is a infratemporal surface of maxilla or posterolateral surface of maxilla. So it gives a second branch called as a zygomatic branch. It travels upward and enters into the orbit. Right. So this is a orbit. This part is called as a orbital part. So can you see this part? This is called as a inferior orbital fissure. Can you see this? Inferior orbital fissure. So it is a part of orbit. Inferior orbital fissure. So maxillary nerve, second branch, that is a zygomatic. This is a zygomatic nerve, enters into orbit through inferior orbital fissure. Okay. Then it travels anterolaterally and gives two branches, that is a zygomatico-temporal and zygomatico-facial. Zygomatic nerve travels anterolaterally into the orbit and gives zygomatico-temporal and zygomatico-facial branches. So these are the within the orbit. These are the branches of zygomatic nerve within the orbit. Okay. So again, maxillary nerve leaves the foramina rotundum, enters into the infratemporal surface of maxilla and gives one branch called as a zygomatic nerve. Then zygomatic nerve enters into the orbit and gives zygomatico-temporal, zygomatico-facial branch. Now coming to the second branch. Can you see? These are the two unnamed branches. Right. These are the two unnamed branches called as a ganglionic branches. These are the two unnamed branches called as a ganglionic branches to this ganglion. So what is this ganglion? This is called as a pterygopalatine ganglion, pterygopalatine ganglion or spinopalatine ganglion. Okay, where it lies? It lies in a infratemporal surface of maxilla, Okay, so maxillary nerve gives two unnamed branches to pterygopalatine ganglion or spinopalatine ganglion, and then further pterygopalatine ganglion or spinopalatine ganglion gives few branches. We will deal about that later. Okay, so coming to the third branch, can you see this third branch? Can you see this? This is called as a posterior-superior alveolar nerve, PSA, posterior superior alveolar nerve. So this is the third branch of maxillary nerve, posterior superior alveolar nerve. It supplies to, remember, it supplies to maxillary third molar, maxillary second molar and maxillary first molar, except mesiobuccal root of the maxillary first molar. Again, posterior supraalveolar nerve, it is a branch of maxillary nerve. It supplies to the maxillary third molar, second molar and first molar except mesiobuccal root. Okay, so this is a posterior supraalveolar nerve. Remember, basically posterior supraalveolar nerve, it is a dental branches for this teeth. Which teeth? Maxillary third molar, second molar and first molar. So these are the dental branches, posterior superior alveolar nerve, and it also supplies on buccal aspect of this teeth, Now, so this is the posterior superior alveolar nerve. Now coming to the further branches. So what we have learned, so within the cranium, this is the meningeal branch. After leaving the foramina rotundum, after leaving the cranium through foramina rotundum, maxillary nerve gives one branch called as a zygomatic branch, zygomaticotemporal, zygomaticofacial, then two unnamed branches to the ganglion, and then ganglion further gives some branches, few branches, that is called as the ganglionic branches. So posterior supraalveolar nerve and third molar, second molar and first molar, right? So coming to the next branch. So can you see this? This is called as a, it is in the orbit. Okay, so this is a inferior orbital fissure. Now maxillary nerve enters into the orbit through inferior orbital fissure into orbit. Okay, maxillary nerve enters into the orbit through inferior orbital fissure. Then within orbit it travels anteromedially, and it enters into this canal. Can you see this canal? This canal is called as a infraorbital canal. Remember this name, infraorbital canal, infraorbital canal. Maxillary nerve enters into this canal called as infraorbital canal, and this maxillary nerve becomes a infraorbital nerve now. Within infraorbital nerve there are two foramina. First, this within the infraorbital nerve gives two branches. First, can you see this? This is called as a middle supraalveolar nerve and anterior supraalveolar nerve. So anterior supraalveolar nerve and middle supraalveolar nerve, these are the intracanal branches, and we have to anesthetize those branches during the infraorbital nerve. So middle supraalveolar nerve and anterior supraalveolar nerve. Okay, after when the infraorbital canal is ended, here can you see, this is called as a now infraorbital foramina. So infraorbital nerve leaves the infraorbital canal through infraorbital foramina, and on the face it gives three terminal branches. Can you see? Three terminal branches, one to eye, one to nose and one to lip. So infrapalpebral, lateral nasal and superior labial, these are the three terminal branches of infraorbital nerve. Okay, now coming to the ganglionic branches, there are we will give, see this is a greater palatine nerve which enters into oral cavity through this greater palatine foramina, and it travels anteriorly, okay, and supplies to the this palatal aspect of this third molar, maxillary third molar, maxillary second molar, maxillary first molar till maxillary premolars. Okay, so these are the innervation, palatal innervation of greater palatine nerve, as well as this is called as a nasopalatine nerve on the palatal aspect of right. The palatal aspect, these are the nasopalatine nerve which travels posteriorly, okay, and gives innervation to maxillary, central incisor, lateral incisor, canine, first premolar, second premolar till premolars. Okay, so there is a dual innervation here for the right, for the premolars. So what we have discussed, these are the palatine branches. These are the palatine branches. The palatine branches are nothing but a ganglionic branches. So these are the ganglionic branches. From here that ganglionic branches originate. Okay, so we have learned palatine branches like greater palatine, nasopalatine. Okay, so these are originated from this area. Okay, so these are the ganglionic branches. We will revise. Maxillary nerve, it is the second branch of trigeminal nerve. Maxillary nerve leaves the cranium through this foramina called as a foramina rotundum. Then it gives one branch called as a zygomatic nerve. Okay, zygomatic nerve, zygomatico-temporal, zygomatico-facial. Then two unnamed branches to the ganglion. Then ganglion gives further branches like greater palatine, nasopalatine, and greater palatine, lesser palatine, and nasopalatine. Then it gives posterior supraellar nerve, supplies third molar, second molar, first molar, maxillary, except mesiobuccal root. Then greater palatine, it enters into the infraorbital canal. It supplies to middle supraellar nerve, and I forgot to say the middle supraellar nerve supplies to the premolars along with a mesiobuccal root. Remember this thing, premolars along with mesiobuccal root of first molar, middle supraellar nerve, and anterior supraellar nerve supplies to the right, central incisor, lateral incisor, and canine. Ipsilateral, remember the word ipsilateral. Three terminal branches, right, inferior palpebral, lateral nasal, and superior label. So it supplies to the lower part of the palpebral, inferior palpebral. Lateral nasal, it supplies to the lateral part of the nose, and superior label, it supplies to the upper part of the lip, right? So when you give the infraorbital nerve here, we should anesthetize these two nerve, like anterior superior nerve and middle superior nerve here. Okay, so this anatomical landmark is most important, which is this anatomical landmarks infraorbital foramina, right?